In this lesson, we'll cover modifying attributes of plumbing fixtures. So if you wanted to display or change your plumbing fixture attributes, we can look at the properties. Typically what you want to do though, when you're placing your plumbing fixtures, you want to make sure they belong to a type or even a subtype. That way you can group those together and apply all the information across all of those plumbing fixtures that belong to that type. For example, if I click on one of the water closets in my Revit model, I see on the left in the property area, it's actually the water closet flush valve, wall-mounted, public, 6.1 liters per feet. Below that are the actual values for how it's constrained, the flow pressure, mechanical information, and then identity and marks, along with phasing and other information of where it's placed and how it'll show up in my schematics or my schedules later on. However, I want to look at the type, so I can click Edit Type above this information. This will display the specific type of water closet, in this case the public 6.1 LPF. Now I could duplicate this if I wanted to modify something. If you do want to modify something, it's best to duplicate it though. I would recommend not changing the default values of the preset data, because if you were to upgrade or reload, you'll lose or potentially lose the modifications you make. So looking at this information, I see I have a default location of the elevation of where it's placed above the finished floor, the level it's bound to. The materials are set by category, but I could override those. I have my water flow rates under mechanical, and I could modify those as well if need be. Likewise with dimensions, and then all of the attributes for the identity of who produced this, the type of mark, the description, the company website, even cost. Again, if I wanted to create a duplicate of this because I wanted to modify values, I can just simply click the duplicate button in the upper right, give it a new name, change my values, and then I can use that actual feature, in this case, the plumbing fixture, in my Revit assembly. Go ahead and click OK. Now, other options you have are moving and flipping the orientation of the actual plumbing symbol. So looking at the actual plumbing symbol, in this case, the toilet fixture, water closet, I have the flip work plane, which will flip the orientation. I also have the drag handle, which will allow me to drag. But keep in mind, this is a wall-mounted fixture, so it has to stay bound or tied to the wall or plane it's associated to. Go ahead and click anywhere in the background to deselect. So as a review, in this lesson, we looked at modifying plumbing fixtures. We looked at displaying the properties of a plumbing fixture and being able to edit those properties of the plumbing fixture. We also talked about plumbing fixture types and the importance of having a type because you can actually group a lot of different elements together under that type. Therefore, if a change needs to be made, it can be applied across all of the plumbing fixtures that belong to that type. We viewed types and we talked about modifying type values, stating it's best to duplicate that type if you wanted to make a modification to one of the values or parameters within that type. Lastly, we looked at the actual plumbing fixture symbol itself and the ability to move that fixture based on the drag handle, dimension, and also flip the plane of its orientation.